Hi there, just to say this is a short snippet from this week's main episode, which was published on Wednesday as always. If you want the full episode, you can find it just below this one. For example, we use it for, like in sort of popular culture, we use it for thoughts as well, and in everyday language. So we say things like, my brain starts thinking this, or my brain goes round in loops. These are cliches, like these are part of our everyday language and we don't really think about them. But have you ever thought about this? Have you ever thought about saying what the problem is with saying my brain thinks this or that? Your brain doesn't think anything. Right, your brain, let me just repeat that. Your brain does not think anything, right? Let me explain this. You have the experience of thought. You're a human being. We all have experience of thoughts. We all know what thoughts are like. Now, if you do meditation, you get a much better understanding of what thoughts are. But in any case, we all experience thoughts all the time. We're humans. We have that. And then we have, if we measure brain activity, we measure the prefrontal cortex, we're going to see that when we're thinking that our prefrontal cortex lights up. So what we do is we say, the brain is thinking. The brain is not thinking. You are experiencing thought. You're not experiencing your brain because your brain is not mental sounds or mental images. That is not your brain. Your mental sounds and mental images are mental sounds and mental images, right? You're not experiencing your brain, right? Now, what I'll also say is that your brain can't think anything because your brain is just flesh and tissue and, if we choose to measure it, things like neural activity and then cells on a microscopic level. Where are the thoughts? There are no thoughts. You cannot look into your brain and see or hear thoughts. Your brain does not think anything. So what's happening is we have your experience. Your human experience is thoughts and images in your mind. That is the human mind, is thoughts and images. That is the human experience. We have correlative neuroscientific information, neurological information that says when this happens, certain areas of the brain light up. So that's what we have. We do not have the brain is thinking. That is not how it works. And we certainly do not have, the brain causes thinking. No, you're experiencing the human experience. And we have correlative information about what the brain is doing. That is not enough to say that the brain does it or the brain is thinking this or that. Not only because the brain is the brain and it's not thoughts, but because correlation is not causation, you see. I really hope you understand this because it's really difficult to describe. It seems very obvious to me, but it's very difficult to convincingly describe it. I'm trying my best, but I really just hope the penny drops that I'm not dismissing the brain activity. What I'm just saying is we're taking incomplete information and we're jumping to conclusions. We're saying that one causes the other. Hi there, just to say this is a short snippet from this week's main episode, which was published on Wednesday as always. If you want the full episode, you can find it just below this one.